There's a quiet fracture inside those who feel deeply. It doesn't roar or shatter your world. It whispers, slowly eroding your energy. You carry too many sorrows that weren't yours to bear, yet you do, out of habit, loyalty, or love. One day that silence shifts. One day your heart refuses to carry what others never thanked you for. For years you forgave cruelty, excused lies, and held peace while bleeding inside. You thought endurance was kindness, but kindness without limits becomes self-betrayal. You bend for everyone else and forget yourself. The quiet exhaustion builds until one day the soul whispers, "Enough. I won't disappear again." Then comes a clarity you cannot ignore. The world that asked for your endless patience finally meets a wall you didn't plan but need. You start to notice what you ignored: small lies, subtle betrayals, empty promises. Your inner radar sharpens. You see patterns that were invisible until exhaustion sharpened your vision. The trigger was always betrayal. Not any betrayal, but by someone you trusted completely. Someone you defended, someone you protected, someone who promised to honor your heart. That violation doesn't erupt as anger first, it ignites understanding. You stop apologizing for seeing what they never wanted you to see. This is when the empath snaps not in chaos, but in a strange, calm awakening. The realization hits you've been carrying energy that wasn't yours. You've been when forgiveness wasn't owed. You've been silent while your own soul demanded to speak. The empath finally prioritizes self. People will call this a change. They'll label your calm as cold, your detachment as cruelty. They don't realize it isn't change, it's alignment. The old habits of over-explaining, over-giving, and over-caring fade. A new version of you arises, steady, clear, precise. Boundaries emerge naturally, without apology. The quiet before action feels strange. You used to jump to soothe storms, to mend what broke. Now you pause, you observe, you measure. This observation isn't detachment, it's discernment. You no longer absorb others' chaos. You protect your energy and choose where your empathy goes, like a gardener tending only the soil that will bloom. Your inner map grows sharper. Every act, word, and silence starts making sense. You remember patterns you once ignored, repeated manipulations, feigned regrets, subtle tests of your patience. These fragments assemble into a strategy, not for revenge, but for clarity. You finally read the map out loud and stop wandering blindly. A scholar observed that transformations like this can terrify even the trained mind. People don't break, they wake. The breakdown you expected is actually integration. Your past endurance becomes data. Every hurt cataloged, every lesson stored, now informs choices that honor your survival and your strength. Silence becomes power. When you stop explaining yourself for everyone's comfort, a new energy fills the space. People feel it's subtle, but undeniable. They sense you are no longer a container for their dysfunction. This isn't aggression. It's clarity. Every word you speak from now has weight, because it isn't shaped by fear or obligation. Grief appears naturally. You mourn relationships that were never reciprocal, friendships that drained, love that demanded more than it gave. That grief is necessary. It clears the way for new connections that respect boundaries, for tenderness that is returned, for your energy to flow without guilt. You begin to reclaim time, energy, and joy. Simple acts, a refused invitation, an unapologetic no. A quiet morning become rituals of self-preservation. Each boundary you set is a brick in a new inner home. The small spaces of calm you carve out grow into deep reserves for life on your terms. Patterns become clear before words form. Hesitation, tone, gaze, they reveal motive, need, fear. Once you see this, you no longer absorb it. You observe, you protect your bandwidth. Empathy becomes intelligence, not a weakness. You choose where to invest your energy and whom to trust, and your choices start shaping your world. People may mislabel your discernment as distance. That's fine. Your interior alignment isn't their concern. Your calm presence becomes a boundary itself. They sense that your empathy is no longer available for exploitation, only for connection that honors you. That's not cruelty. It's a new form of wisdom. Love evolves. It becomes selective, conscious, and generous in ways that matter. You stop watering plants that were meant to die. You tend the soil that deserves care. Every act of attention becomes deliberate. Compassion is no longer blind, it's precise. Your heart remains open but protected. Presence becomes subtle power. Manipulators feel exposed. People who once tested boundaries step back. You don't need to announce your strength. Your calm integrity radiates. Energy flows where it is welcome. It withdraws from what is toxic. The empath's awakening shifts not just the self, but the system around it. Rhythms change. Mornings without apology. Choices guided by clarity, and conversations shaped by truth. Your nervous system learns loyalty to yourself. Tension becomes craftsmanship. Every decision reinforces the boundary between life-giving and draining forces. You shape your reality with quiet precision. Clarity grows. You see motives, fear, and need before they are spoken. Insight isn't magic. It's refined observation, patience, and attention. You act ethically because you choose restraint, not because you lack power. Wisdom becomes your guide. Your empathy is no longer vulnerable. It is strategic, humane, and grounded. Integration is complete when you stop apologizing for your perceptions. You are untouchable, not by force, but by awareness. The manipulative retreat, the sincere feels safe, and you exist as a living mirror of honesty and balance. The empath's awakening reshapes social dynamics without a word of judgment. In the end, you are whole. The empath's journey doesn't lead to numbness but sovereignty. You feel deeply without breaking, love fully without losing yourself, and act wisely without fear. The day the empath snaps is the day they awaken to who they were always meant to be, force of conscious compassion and unshakable strength.